What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good evening, everybody. I am Love Coach Scott Katamas. Welcome to the Awakening World, and it's a very unique and special Saturday night edition. As most of you know, we've been doing this show for 4.5 years now, and of all the Saturday night shows, we've never done a show like this one. We only have 2 guests, and that's by intention, because each of these women that you're going to meet have some very powerful and profound and very important information that we need for our beautiful body temples. And so we're going to have, instead of a 10 or 15-minute homeopathic dosage from our presenters, you're going to get a wonderful hour with Prema Gaya, who is really an expert on nervous system regulation. And we're bringing back Carrie Chiner. And you remember, she's, of course, Piper Dellum's dear friend who has this extraordinary system of helping us to really see what's going on inside of our bodies. And she did a session with me that was very profound, and I guess she's going to reference that a little bit. So we're going to have a very powerful show with both of these extraordinary women. And thank you both for being with us. And it's early morning for each of them. Prema is coming to us from Europe. Carrie is coming to us from Thailand. So it's like some ungodly time in the morning for both of you. So thank you so much for your dedication to the work that you do and to being with our Awakening World audience tonight. Thank you. And we, of course, are grateful that he's back from Japan. And towards the end of the show, we're going to actually see some photos and videos. But for right now, Om Shar is going to do what Om Shar does best. He's going to give us an opening song.
And yes, namaste, everybody, and welcome to our Facebook devotees and our YouTubers and all of our streaming partners. So grateful that you are with us tonight. And this song is called Come Back and Play because it's about reclaiming our sovereignty of our bodies and our minds and our spirits. And so let's do a bit of this and a bit of this and see what happens. You're part of me, walking through time. I didn't leave you in the dark. You are the jewel in my heart. We could never be apart. Whoa. A field of dreams in between. You are the children of the sun, all of you. The world awaits your point of view. So come back and play with the divine. You're part of walking through time. I didn't leave you in the dark. You are the jewel in my heart. Never be apart.
Thank you, beloved brother Omar Shar.
Always good, thank you. It's always a joy to jump in at the beginning and be the opening. I would call myself an act, but I ain't acting. This is for real.
Well, what's true is you always get us off to such a beautiful start, because your music is so filled with your essence, which is love. And so getting everybody up and moving and grooving and picking up the energy, you are such a blessing to us, Omar Shar.
Thank you, brother. And we shall see you after Prema. I'm so looking forward to this. We get to be transformed during this show. See you.
Absolutely. And it is going to be a very transformational show. It's my honor to introduce a dear friend of mine, someone I've known for several years now. And she's an extraordinary woman who's had an extraordinary life. And of course, I'm talking about Prema Gaya. She has kind of done it all. She was a model when she was much younger. She worked in the corporate business world. And then she went on a whole extraordinary spiritual journey that has brought her back to really being dedicated to making life more wonderful for all of us, as Marshall Rosenberg would say. And she has developed an understanding of how to work with nervous system regulation. And that's a lot of what she's going to be sharing with us tonight. She has a program that over 20,000 students have taken her program on nervous system regulation. And one of the things that she says is that by healing our nervous system and retraining our brains, we can enter a new baseline of how we live, how we relate to each other, how we create, how we move through the world. So thank you very much, Prema, for getting up staying up all night long to be with us and to share some of your wisdom with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Scott. It's an honor to be here at 2:15 a.m. Algeciras, Portugal time. You might notice it's pretty dark in the background here. The stars are out. It's a glorious night, and I am up here to connect with all of you. Really excited and deeply honored to be here. This is my second time on the Awakening World show, and I had such a beautiful experience last time. So I said, okay, I'm going to get up at 2 a.m. and do this again.
I think you're on the show with Viraj's birthday, right?
I was on the show about two years ago. This was before I even started doing 300 hours of research that I did to create the nervous system course. So it was just at the beginning of a whole different chapter of life, which I entered into after the last Awakening World show. So let's see what new chapter opens after this.
That's right.
This visit to your tribe here.
Beautiful. Would you like to lead an opening meditation to kind of help people drop in?
I would absolutely love to. Yeah, leading meditations is one of my absolute favorite things. So I would love to invite everyone listening to, let's just take a moment and put one hand over top of your beautiful, radiant, precious, loving heart. And just taking 3 of the deepest, sweetest, most self-honoring and attuned breaths that you've taken so far all day, right into the center of your heart. So breathing in nice and slow, and exhaling with a sigh, letting go of the day, letting go of any tension, letting go of anything that you don't need to be bringing with you into our beautiful sacred container that we get to co-create together today. We'll do a couple more like that. Big, deep breath in to your beautiful heart. And just inviting your heart to soften and relax into this safe, loving, sacred container that we are in together. Exhaling with a sigh. And one more like that. Big, slow, long breath right into the center of your heart, softening the heart, inviting your heart to melt open just a little bit. And full commitment exhale, just letting go of anything whatsoever that you don't need to be holding anymore. Dropping into this moment, dropping into this sacred space, dropping into this constellation of souls that has never before gathered. This beautiful constellation, just visualizing it like a bright, radiant constellation in the sky, and each one of you is a star, is a light in this constellation. Just feeling with a beautiful black sky as a night drop, just as the backdrop, just feeling all of the stars of all of this soul family members that are here together. There's a beautiful quote that says, the universe is like a chandelier and each living being is a light in it. Just visualizing all of the lights that are here with us on this day, on this evening. And taking a moment to drop into your body vessel, your body temple, just moving around a little bit and just finding a way to make yourself just a little bit more comfortable, maybe 5% more comfortable. You can move your spine around, move your neck, move your shoulders, just coming into your body a little bit more, moving your feet around on the floor, wiggling your toes, your fingers, whatever feels good. And as you drop out of the busy mind, the beta thinking brain waves, and just dropping more into a receptive state, more into a state of rest and restoration, Just inviting your energy to come down from the head, down, down to the heart, down to the hand that's over top of your heart. Just feeling how good it feels to feel safe enough to rest in the goodness and the love of your heart in this moment. And from that space, bringing your awareness down your spine, down to your tailbone, your sits bones. Feeling how delicious it feels to feel safe enough, trusting in life enough to let the mind rest, and just bringing your awareness all the way down to the parts of your body that are touching the surface that is holding and supporting you in this moment. Just savoring that delicious feeling of not having to manage anything, not having to show up in this moment for anything, just being able to be in your magnificent vessel, your body vessel. And just taking a moment, opening up the energy centers at the soles of your feet, and opening up to your connection with Mother Earth, the unconditionally loving, nourishing, supportive, benevolent force of nature that sustains you, that breathes life into your lungs, that feeds you, that is ready to hold you and provide for you and support you in each and every moment. Sending your roots down from the soles of your feet all the way down to the center of the earth. Feeling safe, feeling supported, feeling how loved you are as you connect with the secure bond that you have with Mother Earth, always there, always reliable, always present, always nourishing and benevolent. Sending gratitude, a bow of gratitude and love from your heart down to the heart of Mother Earth. May we feel that connection with her for the rest of this call, holding us, supporting us, embracing us as we gather our hearts and our spirits together for all of the goodness that is to come for us here in this co-creative container of upliftment, inspiration, sharing, and love. Bless each of our hearts. May we always remember how truly loved we are. Oh, and so it is. And as you're ready, I invite you just take one more deep breath. And twice as slowly as you normally do, I invite you to gently begin to open your beautiful eyes.
It's beautiful. Thank you.
Mhm.
I'm going to give people a moment to kind of slowly, gently come back. And if anybody wants to put into the chat box anything that they experienced or shared, that would be lovely. Thank you, Prema, for taking us into such a beautiful place. Maybe you might want to share a little bit about hypervigilance and some of the common challenges that people who've gone through trauma face, that then your work in nervous system regulation can actually help people with.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let's see where to begin. So the work that I do, I've had the privilege and honor, as Scott mentioned, of supporting over 20,000 students in the past year and a half in working with pragmatic, simple body-based tools to self-regulate the nervous system. When I started doing this research, I did 300 hours of research synthesizing the leading wisdom streams on the topics of the nervous system, polyvagal theory, trauma integration, self-directed neuroplasticity, brain retraining, so many things. And also really tools for becoming an active operator of our own nervous systems. And when I was doing this research, I was asking myself, why is it that there hasn't been, no one has put together a compendium of simple tools we can do with our own bodies to bring ourselves into more of a state of calm and groundedness and relaxation? Why hasn't that been created? Is it because it's not relevant, or is it because I'm meant to be the one to do it? And that was a really big question that I had. And another thing that came up for me as I was getting ready to birth this course was, Scott's known me for 10 years, and anyone who has known me over the past 10, 20 years, anyone would know that nervous system regulation was one of my number one challenges. So when I got the guidance to birth this course, I was really asking Spirit, how can I be the one to bring forward this work when nervous system regulation is my biggest challenge? How is this even possible? But the guidance was really strong. And so what came through, what I heard, and what was the driving force behind me deciding to move forward with this, was that as I bring forward this body of work through my vessel, through my creative center, that it will also heal me at the same time. I'll receive the medicine pieces that I need for my own healing. And so that is exactly what happened. But Scott was referencing around hypervigilance and people with trauma. Because I host calls to support people with these nervous system regulation tools. I've been hosting about two calls a month ever since I birthed the course in March a year and a half ago. And what I see, the common thread that I see, is people who come to the call have either been through a phase of chronic stress, adversity, or trauma. And it's not always one or the other. So there may have just been a time in someone's life where they were in a chronic stressful situation, where they were having an intense commute, working in an intense workplace, and were kind of got into this gear where they were continually pumping out cortisol, adrenaline, and in this kind of space of fight or flight as a baseline. So that could be one situation. And then sometimes people have been through phases of deep adversity, like with different, wars that have gone on in their countries at different times, or, just adversity with hospitalization of a family member or things like that, or a chronic illness. And then other people have had trauma, like have been through abuse and been through childhood trauma or developmental trauma or any different form of trauma. And so my background was that I went through a lot of trauma growing up for the first 18 years of my life. So maybe some of you on the call, maybe you can share in the chat box if any of those three things that I mentioned, chronic stress, a phase of deep adversity, or having trauma in early life or trauma in later life, if any of those things have been part of your experience. And really and truly, I mean, many, if not most of us, have been through one of or more of those things. So for me, growing up in an environment where it wasn't a safe environment. It was, I was in a lot of fear a lot of the time. So I developed a hypervigilant mechanism of always tracking for safety, always tracking, to listen and to see if I was safe, if something might happen. And so that's one way that it can show up, but it shows up it's really interesting how we create these different adaptations to protect ourselves, these different survival adaptations that help us to stay safe. But one of the things that I discovered in my research is that in contexts like this, with the chronic stress, the adversity, and especially with trauma in early life, that the amygdala wires itself for survival, and the actual mass of the amygdala, which is the part of the brain that detects threat, it's in the limbic system. The amygdala actually grows in volume. So the brain actually changes and I know for myself that's something that happened with me. And that was something that I dealt with. And so the reason that I became inspired to birth this body of work was, after years of navigating and working through the trauma, what ended up happening was I went and did a medicine ceremony in which I felt that this medicine ceremony was going to really support me in finding some answers as to why this hypervigilance was still with me, and why, how I could just, sort of like unwind the hypervigilance. And so I really went into this medicine ceremony with a very strong prayer. And the medicine that happened from that ceremony was very, very different than what I had anticipated. So what ended up happening, my prayer was answered. My prayer was answered, but in a very different way than I anticipated. The medicine that I did was ibogaine, and my body was extremely allergic to it. So I ended up being violently ill, and then I was semi-bedridden for about 3 months. And this was about 2 years ago. And, sometimes it's something like that brings you to like the rock bottom, where I was like semi-bedridden, zero energy, and my nervous system basically more or less shut down. I had no energy to do anything. So then I was like, okay, I'm just going to research, because my background is, I used to write for Spirituality and Health magazine and a variety of other magazines. And I really learned how to synthesize a lot of information together to create sort of like new and really sort of pragmatic and easy to use ways of accessing knowledge, sort of in a way that hasn't been brought forward before. And so that's what I did with with the research for this course. Like, I synthesized so many different bodies of work to find all these different body-based tools. But before we even get too far into that, I just wanted to share one thing. I created this this PDF, It's called 6 Tools for Nervous System Self-Regulation. And I'm going to teach you some tools that I learned and that I teach now. Simple things you can do with your body, eye exercises, ear massage, vocal toning, breathing techniques, cold water therapy, self-applied touch. I mean, these are just some. In my course, I teach dozens and dozens of different body-based tools, but I want to invite those watching to, if you want to go to nervoussystemsupport.org, it's just NERVOUS. Yeah, I think Scott's going to show it. It's nervoussystemsupport.org. You can just, if you put your email address in on that page, then those, it will send you a copy of this PDF so you can take a look. And then we can follow along because I want to do some of these practices with you all. And so, yeah, let's take a moment and then take a moment, and if you want to get a copy of the PDF, go ahead and sign up for that on nervoussystemsupport.org. And then you just have to check your email and it'll pop in there within a couple minutes. And if you don't see it, check the spam folder. It might go in there. So I love
I'm
teaching.
going to come in for a moment just so
Yeah,
people
please.
can have time to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm putting into the chat box for our Zoom roomers where to go. And what'll happen, you didn't see it when I showed it because I'd already signed up earlier today. But when you go to that page, Nervous Systems Support, and notice there is 2 S's, Nervous Systems Support. So there's 2 S's between nervous and system. They both have their own S. When you go there, what'll happen is you'll see a little pop-up where you can put your name and your first name and your email address in. And then right away, the autoresponder will send you the PDF. You do need to check your spam because if you haven't whitelisted Prima Gaia, which you probably haven't because you're just meeting her, then it could end up in your spam folder. So definitely take a look for it. And while people are doing that, I did want to read some of the comments because you had asked how many people could relate to 1, 2, or 3 of those situations. And a lot of people responded. Susan Bloomquist writes, oh dear, I have all 3. Carrie writes all 3. Grace Denise said yes. Sylvia, all 3. Pam, same as the above. I've had all 3. Dorina Joy, all 3. Grace, all 3. Dia, all 3. And so it goes. Also, Karen Eisenberg said, beautiful meditation, Prima. And Susan said, brain elasticity is something she wants to learn more about.
Okay. Yeah. So, I want to share a little vulnerability also because I really, vulnerability and authenticity are really deep values of mine. And I really just want to lay this out on the, just in real, just laying sort of my heart out on the table here as we're sharing about this stuff. And it sounds like there's so many who've been through similar things. I went through because, for the first 18 years of my life, I didn't feel safe. And there was there was no safe adult. So I couldn't turn to anyone reliably. I didn't know any safe adults, and there was none in my field. And that was just, I believe that my soul chose that because it really set me off on a certain trajectory to study a ton of healing arts so that I could eventually be in service. But because there was no safety, I was, my brain by necessity needed to rewire itself in all these fascinating, complex ways, so that I could survive, so that I could listen if someone's coming, if something might happen, something bad might happen. So maybe some of you can relate, but what ended up happening after that, I ended up going through what I call a decade of numbing from 15 to 25. I was drinking alcohol and binge drinking, and I was using recreational drugs like, I don't necessarily need to go into which ones, but I was using recreational drugs that were not helping me at all. And it's very sad. It's very sad because all I wanted was love, just like everyone else. I wanted to feel safe. I wanted connection. I wanted to, be around people that saw me, that cared about me, that I felt safe with. All these beautiful things that we get to experience as humans. And so I didn't know how to create that for myself because I had all these imprints from, the messaging that I had received from my family members, which, just ended up needing to do years and years of healing on that. But the great news is that everything can be healed, everything. And I also wanted to share vulnerably that after I stopped using alcohol and recreational drugs, then I went through a phase of like depression. And I had a lot of suicidal ideation, which is very sad because these lives are so beautiful and so precious. And my life is so, so, so beautiful now. And I was just sharing with Scott on our call earlier that, I've just come here in Portugal out of three of the most connected, loving, joyful community time weeks of my entire life, and it's just amazing. So I'm really passionate about self-directed neuroplasticity, which is consciously rewiring our brain. Like I shared earlier, I was wiring my brain for survival. I was literally growing my amygdala to be bigger so that I could protect myself, using my hippocampus to remember all the negative things so they wouldn't happen again, rather than using my hippocampus to remember all the good things so that I could create more positive things. And so self-directed neuroplasticity is, it's a term that was coined in 2006 by a man who wrote a book called, I think it's called The Brain That, oh gosh, what's it called? Might have to Google it, but there was a book, The Brain That Changes Itself, I think. And so I personally believe that knowing how to regulate your nervous system and knowing how to retrain your brain is like an incredible combination because things have changed so much since those days when I used to you sort of like entertain depressive thoughts, and it's rare, but they will come when you have that neural pathway, it will revisit from time to time. And it's just a question of, do you entertain it or do you go there, but with brain retraining, tools, and just working with, because we're always wiring our brain every day, we're wiring it, but are we wiring it towards the old stories from the past, or are we wiring it to something new? And it works, when we wire it to something new, it really works. Like, my life is getting better and better all the time. And so I'm very passionate about sharing all this stuff. So this body of work that I birthed in March of 2022, it's just sort of, it just burgeoned and it started taking on a life of its own. So it's amazing because I always prayed to be in service. And I prayed for years. Great Spirit, show me my Dharma, how can I serve? And for so many years, I just needed to keep healing myself so that I could, be ready and prepare my vessel. And then, like I shared, I did this medicine ceremony and I thought it was going to show me how to heal myself, but it totally wasn't what I expected. I was allergic, and then I got very ill. So laying there kind of semi-bedridden, I was just like nerding out on researching everything under the sun about how to heal my nervous system, how to regulate my nervous system. And eventually I did 300 hours of research and I synthesized together this thing and I was like, okay, I'm going to birth it. Who knows if people are going to like it? And people loved it. It's been helping a lot of people. I've had some amazing reviews from people that blow my mind and make me so happy and so grateful. I've had people say, like, this is the best thing I found since getting out of the army, or I've been looking for a course like this my whole life, or this course is an answered prayer. Like, they say the most beautiful things, and it makes me really touched. So in a nutshell, I'm teaching very simple tools, and I want to show you some of the tools. But like I said, on this PDF, hopefully you have it by now. Don't forget to check your spam folder if you didn't get it, nervoussystemsupport.org. Eye exercises are an incredible way to regulate the nervous system. So 6 out of 12 of our cranial nerves And I'll just go back a little bit. The central nervous system is our brain, our 12 cranial nerves, our brain stem, our spine, our spinal cord, our spinal nerves, and our enteric nerves. It's the body's processing center. If you had chronic stress, adversity, or trauma, there's a lot of extra things to process. For me, I identify as someone who has sensory processing sensitivity. That is the scientific word for being a highly sensitive person. I also had a lot to process because I went through a lot, and maybe some of you can relate. But with the eyes, many of you have heard of EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. There's been so much research done by some amazing, brilliant scientists and doctors about the connection between eye movements and the nervous system. There's some really simple ones that can help us to process our emotions and also to regulate the nervous system. So some signs that your nervous system is starting to regulate and starting to settle into a parasympathetic rest and digest state. Maybe you can let me know in the chat. What does your body start to do when it starts to downregulate? So for me and for many people, it's you either might yawn, swallow, a deeper exhale just naturally happens, or some saliva might start to pool in your mouth. These are all signs that you're calming down, settling down. So let's try one of the most popular tools that most nervous system educators teach this one. It's called the basic exercise. It's by Stanley Rosenberg. He wrote the book, Accessing the Healing Power of the Vagus Nerve. I like to do this one almost every day. And it's so cool because this actually realigns your C1 and your C2, your first and second cervical vertebrae. So you're going to interlace your hands, and if you can lay down, this is the best, but you can also do it seated upright. So interlacing your hands, this is like, it works every time. It's amazing. It's a really good one to have in your toolkit. So holding the back of your skull with your interlaced hands, and if you can only put up one arm for any reason, that's totally fine. So interlacing your hands and holding your head, and you're just going to bring your eyes keeping your face forward, bringing your eyes all the way to the right side, and stretching out the eye muscles. So it's a combination of holding your head in that position and bringing your eyes all the way to one side. And we're going to do it on the other side after this. And it's a combination of these two things that actually realigns your first and second cervical vertebrae, which then increases blood flow to your brainstem, including your vagus nerve, your 10th cranial nerve. Just take a couple more breaths there. And you can do this for like 60 seconds on either side. And then slowly bringing the eyes back to the center. And then we're going to go all the way to the left. Many of you have probably already practiced this before. It's a very popular one called the basic exercise, also known as the vagus nerve reset. So you're bringing your eyes all the way to the left side. Your face is pretty much still facing forward as much as possible. And eventually you might notice a little yawn, and that's a good sign. We're just going to do about 2 more breaths over there to this side. One more breath. And bringing your eyes back to the center and just noticing if you feel some subtle signs, some subtle signals in your body. And definitely encourage you to explore this on your own time and see, maybe stay a little longer on each side. You can release the hands. So Scott, I'll pass it back over to you, and maybe you can let me know if there's any comments.
Yeah, there absolutely are. Let me remove the spotlights and come back and put the spotlight on you and I. And thank you so much for sharing vulnerably a little bit about your story. That it is beautiful, and it gives us, we're family here. We're family. So, all right, well, not necessarily in order. George Noble just wrote, the eye movements are also enhanced during specific dream states. Susan Bloomquist writes, I will keep using that tool. Thank you, Prima. And I guess George is, referencing REM, rapid eye movement sleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Susan Woolridge just signed up for your course. So thank you, Susan. Kathy got the PDF just fine. She's saying thank you. Susan Bloomquist writes, I'm understanding each moment we have the power to change our thoughts and our own lives this way. Thank you. By the way, we have 3 Susans in the room tonight. Pam writes, there's a pop-up that came up for me to sign up with my email, and then the handout came in the introductory email because people are having trouble finding the PDF.
The PDF link is in the introductory email. You just have to click on that link.
There you go. So you get the introductory email, and then you click the link to find the PDF.
Inside the email. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Susan writes, I believe many of us are relating to your story. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Susan. That really helps, putting things out there. It's so helpful to hear a reflection of resonance.
Pam wrote, this is probably why I feel so safe and connected with the Global Peace Tribe. We've all been through this kind of stuff. Yeah. Dia writes, what a helpful piece of information regarding our amygdala. And then Sylvia offers that Robin Landsong's singing medicine has helped her a lot over several years with those issues.
Amazing.
And this person, Robin, offers various practices also to help with nervous system regulation. I don't know if you've come across Robin Landsong or not.
I haven't come across Robin, but we're going to talk a little bit about using the voice with singing, chanting, humming, and toning, which are all ways to vibrate the vagus nerve all the way down the vagal pathway, an excellent way to build vagal efficiency. Yeah, so we can talk about that.
Susan S., that's a different Susan, says, Prima, I really appreciate your transparency. I use this tool I will use this tool when I remember. Lots of laughs. Grace says, thank you for this. It's going to help for my neck also. Scotty Satori writes, great tool, love it. And a couple of people are still trying to figure out how to get the PDF. Is there a link to the PDF that I could put into the chat box?
Yes. Scott, if you open did you get the email yourself? Because if I can actually quickly, I can just go to my email and put the link in the chat box myself.
Yeah, for some reason, I even went into my spam, and for some reason, it didn't come through to me.
Okay, let me see. I'm going to go to, and I'm going to pull it up just really quickly here so that I can put it in the chat.
And thank you, everybody, for your comments and coming in.
Okay, I'm going to put it in the chat. Let me know if this works for everyone.
Beautiful.
Okay, Scott, can you pull that link up and see if that works for you?
There it is. Yay. So I'm going to show. So for anybody who's watching on Facebook, that's what it looks like. 6 tools for nervous system self-regulation: eye exercises, ear massage, vocal toning, breathing techniques, cold water therapy, and self-applied touch.
And there's so many more in the course.
Yeah.
There's so many more in the course. So Scott, just how many minutes do we have on this, just so I know how to how many more?
So you've got, let's see, you've got like another 35 minutes.
I have another 35 minutes. Okay, so it started after Omashar. Okay, I wasn't sure. Okay, great. Another 35. Okay, wonderful. So, okay, we did one eye exercise. I want to do another eye exercise. This one is really good. I mean, they're both, the basic exercise is kind of the top tool that every nervous system educator teaches, the one that I just shared. So definitely explore it for yourself. It's a great reset. There's another one, which is, so you're going to take your thumb in front of you. I'll just lean back a little bit here. Taking your thumb in front of you and keeping your face really facing forward, drawing a big sideways figure 8. It's like an infinity loop, but keep your face still and just follow your thumbnail. Make a really big one. And this is stretching like all of these eye muscles that often get into this sort of tunnel vision mode, or this kind of deer in the headlights mode, or, also being on screens. But making this, so I invite you to try this along with me. You're just focusing on your thumbnail and you're making this big infinity loop. And this is it's really, not only is it energetic, making this infinity loop, but it's really somatic. You're really stretching your eye muscles nicely, making a nice big infinity loop, keeping your head still. And you can feel how nice it feels to stretch those eye muscles. As I said, 6 out of 12 of our cranial nerves are connected to functions of the eyes. The eyes are one of the keys to nervous system regulation. And I do eye exercises almost every day, pretty much every day. I really like them. Not only does it help with nervous system regulation, it also helps with emotional processing. If something triggers me, I might just go outside where there's a nice view and just do my eye exercises for a few minutes, and then I'll usually yawn. And then I'm like, oh, I feel good now. I just really enjoy it. So that's one. And then you can also make draw like an X. So big X. Keeping your face forward. So you're really just bring your eyes all the way up to that top right corner. And you're looking at your thumbnail and then going back down and intending to keep your face forward, but really stretching to the very bottom corner, watching your thumbnail, and just feel how nice that stretch feels. Again, just remembering the significance of how many of our cranial nerves are connected to our eyes, and that's a direct line to the central nervous system. And often you'll notice that you're going to yawn in here somewhere. Oh, there we go. Okay, so play around with it. And also I have a ton of videos on YouTube that demonstrate these practices. You can check out youtube.com/PremaGaya if someone wants to pop that in the chat. The videos on YouTube demonstrate these things so you can remember them later. I feel that, there's this whole principle called vagal toning, which is that not only do these exercises help you when you're triggered to self-regulate and to come more into a parasympathetic state, but they also help to build what is called vagal tone, also known as vagal efficiency, which means that when it's time to relax, your vagus nerve is able to work more efficiently. It's kind of like a muscle, like working out a muscle, stimulating the vagus nerve, which is the 10th cranial nerve that goes from the brainstem down both sides of the neck through many major organs and ends in the gut. So there's different ways to stimulate it, vibrating the vagus nerve, and we'll be talking about some of these things. Also, there is a branch of the vagus nerve that goes behind the ears. It's called the auricular branch of the vagus nerve. So on to our number 2 exercise on here, ear massage. We have 3 different ear massages. And in the course, again, there's so many different ones, but I just put some simple ones on here. I made this PDF of when I was teaching at Envision Festival this year, which was really fun. I just wanted something to hand out. So I created this with like a simple thing that you can kind of put up on your fridge in case you ever need some reminders when if you get triggered or if you just feel overstimulated or overwhelmed. So with regards to ear massage, one of my favorite ones is like a Qigong self ear massage. So you're going to put your fingers like peace signs peace, like a peace sign. And then you're going to put your forefinger on the back of your ear and your middle finger on the front of your ear, and just rubbing up and down the ears, and do it on both sides, and just checking in with your body to notice your body's signals. Notice if this feels soothing for you, if it feels comforting, if it feels like your body enjoys this, it's helping you to feel soothed, it's helping you to feel relaxed, just noticing any signals your body is giving you. So we have so many. So just keep on trying this and just playing around intuitively with the different parts of your ear and just finding what feels right for you. But I just want to highlight, we have so many for nervous system regulation, for overall well-being, for stress, for anxiety here on the ears. In one of my videos that's talking about ear massage, there's a chart that shows you exactly where the nervous system regulation points are on the ears. So check out that video if you want to see that. But you know, some of them are like the Shen Men up here, 0.0. There's a heart point here in the center. There's a tranquilizer point here on this tragus cartilage. But you're rubbing up and down all these amazing acupressure points. Plus you're rubbing on the back side here, which is the, you're touching fibers of the auricular branch of the vagus nerve. So yeah, so maybe you can let me know in the chat how you like the ear massage. How does your body respond? Does it feel comforting? Does it feel soothing? Because a lot of these practices, you know, these practices, the goal is to bring us more into a state, a parasympathetic state of down regulation. There's so much up regulation and go energy in our world these days that having these things we can do, these places on our own body that we can stimulate with exercises or manually is a really helpful thing, especially during these times, to, you know, to help ourselves have, you know, more of an accessible way of coming into calm and coming into groundedness within a few minutes by doing these practices. So we're going to talk about number 3 on here, which is called vocal toning. How many of you guys have heard of the VOO sound, which was popularized by author Peter Levine, wonderful, wonderful teacher who wrote the book Waking the Tiger, Healing Trauma? The VOO sound is a sound that we make that vibrates the vagus nerve all the way down the vagal pathway, all the way from the brainstem through the throat, all the way down to the belly. And then there's also a practice called Brahmari breathing. And I know many of you practice yoga, so this is something that you're probably familiar with, some of you. And it works with a very similar principle to the VOO, because you're making a sound that vibrates the vagus nerve. So let's try the Brahmari breathing. It's making a sound like a bumblebee. And I like to do this one. As I shared, I have sensory processing sensitivity, meaning I'm a highly sensitive person. And in places like an airport, especially, I like to go into a little quiet place and do my Brahmari breathing. I find that not only does it down-regulate my nervous system, but by plugging your ears and making this humming sound, it also helps to bring you into your own frequency, bring you into your own vibration, just bringing you back home to your sound, yourself, you know, the vibration of you. So what you'll do is, I invite you to try this along with me. What you'll do is plug both of your ears by pushing down on the flap of cartilage, and you're going to make a sound like a bumblebee. So a buzzing sound. Brahmari is a Sanskrit word that means bumblebee. So we're going to do this together, taking a deep breath and making that buzzing sound, and just noticing what you feel in your nervous system and in your body when you're doing this. There's a term called interoception. Maybe you can let me know if you've heard about this word, interoception. It's our ability to track our body's signals, to track the messages that our body is giving us, messages of whether we are hungry, whether we are cold, whether we need to go to the bathroom, and also emotion sensations like heartache or different emotion sensations. These are all part of interoception. And if you're anything like me, I had a phase, maybe you've had a phase for whatever reason in your life, where either from childhood or in a certain relationship or work environment, you were taught to turn off your interoception because there was no room for it. Like there was no bandwidth for you to be tracking your body signals and meeting, tending to your body signals and your body's needs. For me in childhood, there was no space for that. So I learned to just turn it all the way off. So then it became a relearning, because interoception is innate. We have access to our body's signals and our body's messages. So these practices help when you listen to what it does to your nervous system and start to become a Jedi at tracking what your nervous system does and how it changes. Then you're reactivating your interoception, which is your birthright, to have access to really feeling the subtle signals of your nervous system so that you can become more of an active operator of it and work with it, as, working with your body and with your nervous system as allies. So we're going to try the Brahmari breathing together, listening to any signals, interoceptive signals that your body's giving you. So taking a deep breath in, and you're going to plug your ears and make a sound like a bumblebee. One more time. I'd love to hear in the chat what you noticed, what signals you noticed from your body, from your nervous system.
While we're giving people time to write about that, I want to read a few of the other comments that came in about ear massage. Susan Bloomquist writes, ear massage has medical benefits too. Each organ has an acupuncture point in the ear. Karen Eisenberg writes, thank you. This is very comforting, this ear massage. Pam writes, ear massage is a very nurturing thing to do. And then Dr. Laura writes, oh my God, Prema, these exercises are so good. I'm sighing and yawning all over the place. Bless you. I was watching on YouTube, but I had to come back into the chat room just to thank you for all of these exercises. And she adds, I'm making homemade vegan cabbage rolls for a party tomorrow. Pam writes, yum, Dr. Laura. Sylvia says, this was fun. It felt or sounded like the sounding of a conch shell.
Nice. Amazing. Beautiful. Okay, so I'd love to go through the remaining 3 on our beautiful PDF here. Really just one simple practice for each. So, and again, there's so many more inside the course, but this is just a little overview of some of the core ones. So I'm curious who on the call has heard about box breathing. It's a simple one. There's a few different breathing techniques on there, but we'll just do box breathing for now. It's a simple one that is just breathing in for 4, holding for 4, exhaling for 4, and holding for 4. For me, due to my background and due to the trauma I experienced, environments like the airport or Walmart or a big festival, sometimes I can kind of leave my body and disassociate a little bit. And I just find when something like that happens, I come right into a breathing practice, and it really, really helps me to ground. So box breathing is very simple. So I would do that like when I'm walking through a festival or when I'm walking through Walmart. Not that I walk through Walmart that much, but if I have to, I'll do something like box breathing to make it fun and sacred while I'm in there. So let's try box breathing. So we're going to breathe in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, and hold for 4. So I invite you to try this one with me. So breathing in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. Breathing in, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. Breathing in, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. And I'd love to hear in the chat if you got any, like even within just doing that for 30 seconds, my body is already like, yes, I like this. You know, my body just gives me that signal of this is good for me. I'm curious
There's,
if
there's a
any felt.
question actually for you, Prima.
Okay.
Does box breathing increase your focus, making you more vigilant? I've heard that the military does something like this during combat situations.
Okay, interesting. Okay, well, with breath work, there's balancing breathing, there's upregulating breathing, and there's downregulating breathing. So some of the breathwork techniques are more balancing. They don't upregulate you and they don't downregulate you. Some of the breathing techniques, for example, 4, 7, 8 breathing, breathing in for 4, holding for 7, and exhaling for 8, that is a down-regulating breathing practice. Because every time we breathe in, we're subtly up-regulating the nervous system. And every time we breathe out, we're subtly down-regulating the nervous system. So with 4, 7, 8 breathing, we're breathing out for twice as long as we're breathing in. So we're sending more signals of down-regulation than up-regulation. I'm pretty sure from my sense, the box breathing is a balancing one. It's relaxing too. It's balancing or it's down regulating, but it's not up regulating. And what I will share as a contrast to that, something like these open mouth breathing techniques, any open mouth breathing is going to be more up regulating. So bringing more energy. A lot of the breath of fire kind of things are more upregulating. And also, you know, the famous holotropic breath work is more of an upregulating breathing. So you can just explore with your body and see what works, what feels right for you. And the other thing I want to share is anything I ever share, always check with your own body and see what's true for you. And always you can adapt the tools and make them work better for your body. Because what I always teach is that you are your own greatest healer, every single one of us. So you're the one who has access to your own interoceptive messages and what you notice and what you discover with your own body. So definitely, you know, trust your own body signals first and foremost. Definitely don't push yourself past your body's signals. For example, if you are recovering from burnout or adrenal fatigue, doing upregulating breath work, like doing an hour of holotropic breathing or even Wim Hof breathing, can actually you know, hold you back in recovery from like burnout or adrenal exhaustion or things like that. There's some of the upregulating breath work techniques aren't really helpful for when you're healing from like severe burnout, which I was. So I discovered that, you know, things like that. But again, I think the simple guidance with that is always listen to your body's interoceptive signals and notice what's actually feeling good for you. So, Scott, can you tell me a time check again for how much longer we have here?
About 10 minutes.
Okay, excellent. So let's move on to cold water therapy. Cold water therapy can be a really, really excellent one for, you know, there's so many different ways we can work with it, but ice baths, going into the river or the ocean, or, you know, if you're close to any natural body of water, can be an amazing way to reset the nervous system and also just reset your energy field, completely clear your energy field. When I was living in Costa Rica, I was doing that every single day. And when I was living in the Netherlands, I was doing ice baths. But if you're going through a phase where you're in depression and feeling sort of like more of a collapse energy, sometimes things like ice baths aren't necessarily the best for you. Sometimes actually getting into a nice warm bath and feeling more of that nurturing energy can be more supportive. But working with hot and cold is one of the most helpful ways to not only regulate the nervous system, but also bring in more of what is called dose hormones or dose brain chemistry, which is dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins, all the ones that really help us to feel good in our brains and in our neurology and our nervous systems, rather than running what we often in our society, what is often normalized, which is running chemistry, which is cortisol, adrenaline, norepinephrine, which are the ones that are really sort of bringing us into more of a fight or flight, or bringing us into more of that, state of feeling stressed, or kind of that go, go, go energy. So with things like saunas alternated with like cold showers, and then also taking a warm bath or taking an ice bath, but working with heat and cold. I also have this thing called an infrared sauna blanket. It's that I have in Costa Rica, where you go inside. It's like this big black sauna sleeping bag. These things really shift your brain chemistry, and you'll feel it, or just going in a sauna in general really noticeably can shift your brain chemistry. So one of the things that I noticed is if I'm having like a really challenging time, and then I go and do something with like either cold water or warm water or heat or cold, and then check back in with yourself 10, 15 minutes later, and the brain chemistry shifts so much that everything just feels so much more manageable. So it's really, really, really a helpful tool to remember to work with heat and cold for nervous system regulation, and also to boost those feel-good neurotransmitters. And yeah, so it's called, working with things that naturally boost your positive beneficial neurotransmitters is called functional neurology. So the last one is self-applied touch. So let's do on our little PDF here, the very bottom one, self-applied touch. We're going to do something called havening. Havening was popularized by pop star Justin Bieber, who, bless his heart, went public sharing about this self-soothing technique that he does to help him when he's on tour, called havening. And so we're going to wrap our arms around ourselves. I invite you to try this with me, and stroking up and down and breathing deeply, and just stroking with nurturing, nourishing touch. So this is working with boosting oxytocin. And if you have bare skin on your shoulders, even better, because you're with this self-soothing touch, you're working with your mammalian caregiving system, working with your body's mammalian caregiving system to bring yourself into that state of feeling nurtured, at the same time boosting your feel-good neurotransmitter of oxytocin. And you can also combine this with some of the 4-4-4 breathing, or you can do VOO sounding while you're doing this. So let's try just doing a VOO while we're doing this. Let's just do one VOO together. And again, this is something that vibrates the vagus nerve and helps to build vagal efficiency. So taking a big breath in as you're stroking up and down your arms, and we're going to do a VOO. You can drop your hands back down into your lap. And love to hear in the chat how that was for you, and anything else that you're noticing as we go through these different practices. And
I'll read some of the things that have been said if you'd like.
Sure.
Drina Joy writes, cold water therapy with contrast showers has been life-saving for me.
Oh, it's so helpful. Yeah.
Pam says, I love you. I love VOO. I love VOO. Got it.
I love you too, Pam.
Susan Bloomquist writes, I remember how swimming has often helped me to regulate. Sylvia writes, I embody dragon phoenix energy and habitually rotate 2 frozen water bottles wrapped in towels to lay on and or hug when I lay down, along with my teddy bears.
Amazing.
Karen S. writes, I did contrast showers as practicing Kundalini yoga. And Grace Denise has a question for you, actually. She's asking, Prema, can you recommend a gentle, unregulated breath for when stressed?
Yes. Yes. On this sheet here, the 4-7-8 breath is a great breath. It was popularized by Dr. Andrew Weil, and I think he calls it a natural sedative breath, the 4-7-8. So you're breathing in for 4, holding for 7, and exhaling for 8. That's an amazing one. I do a lot, and I teach that in the course. We do that, the 4-7-8 breath. We do that at the beginning of every one of the 10 sessions. And also the box breathing is another great one. Yeah. And I wanted to share something that this is something that I'm going to be doing next week. Is I'm going to be offering 2 free community practice session calls. One is on the 3rd and one is on the 4th. That's on next Thursday and Friday. Let me just check the times. The first one is, I wrote it down here, October 3rd at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, and 5 p.m. UK. That's on Thursday, next Thursday. And these are free calls that I offer to the community. They're community practice sessions where we're going to be doing a meditation and some of the nervous system nourishing practices, and then a little bit of intention setting, visualization, and then questions and answers. And then there's another one on October 4th, 10 a.m. PT, so an hour later, 1 p.m. ET, and 6 p.m. UK. And if you go to premagaya.com/community calls, it's limited to 40 spots on these calls to keep it intimate so that everyone has a chance if they want to ask a question. And so I invite you to sign up for one, if you sign up, you can come to one or both of the calls. And I think Scott's going to pull up the link there to.
Yeah. The link's in the Zoom room, and I was showing it while you were speaking. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Amazing.
You probably don't have I don't know if you have the your view on speaker, but if you put on speaker, you'll see what I'm showing. And
got it. I got it. Yeah. So I invite you to join us on October 3rd. Those calls are totally free, and it's an opportunity for us to dive deeper into really going into some more of the practices, and love to see you there. So you can just go to premagaya.com/community practice. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Yeah.
And the other thing I wanted to share is that I would love to offer to this community, the Global Peace Tribe, if you're interested in taking the 10-day course, which is a 10-session course. It's an audio course, and each session is on average between 12 to 18 minutes long. So it's really accessible. It's 10 sessions around 12 to 18 minutes long that you can do at your own pacing. It's a self-study course. And if you'd like to do the course, I'm offering it for 30% off what it normally is. It's normally $77. And I'm offering it for 30% off with the code LOVE30, which is capital L, capital O, capital V, capital E, 30. And then if you put that in at the checkout, it will then be dropped down to about $53 to make it more accessible to whoever might feel called to take it. And that is going to be available until October 7th. So would love to have you in the course. If you'd like to join us in there and join the other beautiful students that are going through the course right now, would love to go on this journey with you. And so, yeah, love to hear if there's any questions or comments or anything anyone wants to share before we.
Well, Dr. Laura is saying I will be there. See you on the 3rd or the 4th. And Dr. Laura also said, oh my God, who would have known that Justin Bieber would be the great yogi of wisdom for his Havening technique? That's kind of cute. Beatrice is also going to take your course. She just needs a little help with the technology. We'll make sure we help you. And yes, the code is LOVE30, L-O, big L, big O, big V, big E, and the number 30. I want to share something also that I highly recommend. I've put into the chat box her YouTube channel. And it's really easy for all of you on Facebook and watching, just put in Prema, P-R-E-M-A, Gaia into YouTube, and it comes right up, and you can go to her YouTube channel. And she's got a lot. And here's all the vagus nerve reset stuff she talked about, which I highly recommend. But what I really want people to know is what I've been doing. You see where it says popular uploads? Prema made a series of beautiful audios and videos all about the meditations and visualizations for abundance, for calm, for a positive mindset. They're beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And honestly, her one on abundance, I probably listened to at least 20 times. She has such a beautiful voice. Many of you might remember Theo Grace, who's been on this show many times. Theo does the music underneath her. So Theo's music, Prema's voice, and she carefully, every word is perfectly selected. They are my favorite meditation tapes. I was just telling somebody, I was having dinner with someone who was talking about Joe Dispenza's meditations. And I said, Joe's great, but his voice, try Prema Gaia. And I sent one of yours to my friend. She said, oh my God, you're right. This woman's voice is so calm and soothing. So check out Prema's beautiful audios. They're fantastic.
Thank you so much, Scott. And it reminded me of one other thing I wanted to mention, which is I'd love to be in touch with anyone who wants to reach out and ask questions or be connected. You can find me and send me a direct message either on Facebook, which is facebook.com/PremaGaia1, PREMAGAIA, and the number 1 on Facebook. And the other one is Instagram.com/PremaGaia. So you could send me a direct message on either of those platforms. It's a great way to reach out. If you want to be in touch, if you want to ask any questions, please feel free. I always love connecting with people around this work, around the nervous system stuff, meditations, and anything along those lines. Would be more than happy to answer questions or connect. So would love to keep in touch that way. And also just want to invite you to take a moment to download the PDF so you have it and you can print it up, put it on your fridge, so that any moments that you really need some of that self-regulation or self-soothing, that you have some tools there that can help you to bring you more into that state of rest and restoration, which is so regenerative for our bodies and hearts and minds.
Thank you so much, my dear friend. I really appreciate you staying up so late, being so generous with your information, with your wisdom, all that you've learned. And I know a lot of our people are going to be attending your community practice call and taking your course. And thank you also for the discount. That's really, really sweet of you. Thank you.
Look forward to seeing many of you on October 3rd or October 4th on the community practice calls. Thank you so much, Scott.
Love you so much, Prema. Isn't she a gem? She's just such a gem. From one gem to another gem, we're going to go to our beloved brother Omashar, who of course has the perfect backdrop and probably will have the perfect song.
What do you mean, probably?
Well, I don't want to put too much pressure on you. And by the way, Prema,
after Prema's sharing, I have like no pressure whatsoever on my system. I am just so centrally regulated and so calm and so present. I'm very, very grateful for your sharing, Prema. And it's Portugal you're in right now, correct?
Portugal, yeah.
Yes,
3:30 a.m.
I love Portugal, and there is no time. So anyway, thank you so much. And I Am is the name of this song. Okay, here we go. love inside us all. I am the heart, I am the soul. It's in every one of us, the heart of us all. I am, I am. It's the driving force of us, the way of the universe. I am, I am. Radiant sunrise is why we're here. Heart streaming light into our atmosphere, where life is dear and love will free us all. I am, I am the trees, I am the soil. Heart, I am your soul. It's in every one of us, the heart of us all. I am, I am. It's the driving force of us, the way of the universe. I am, I am. Radiant sunrise is why we're here. Heart streaming light into our atmosphere, where life is dear and love will free us all. It's in every one of us, the heart of us all. I am, I am. It's the driving force of us, the way of the universe. I am, I am. Radiant sunrise is why we're here. Heart streaming light into our atmosphere, where life is dear and love will free us all.
I see people are twinkling you, my friend, but it's so beautiful. The backdrop behind you. I'm just going to keep it on you, Amashar, and ask everybody to send you lots of love and appreciation.
Thank you so much. And I tell you, just those few exercises, well, I don't tell you, I tell us all, Prema, just really, I did not expect it, just pull me right into center. And sometimes when I play music, I get nervous. It's just an old knee-jerk reaction. However, I just felt so centered. Thank you.
That was beautiful. Well, we have another extraordinary, well, there's Prema. She came back on. Her website was up for a moment, but there she is. I'm going to bring up that beautiful smiling face. And I think you're seeing all the wonderful comments coming in, and Prema, people,
So touching.
yeah, thank you so much. Beautiful one.
Mhm.
Well, we have another extraordinary person with us today and tonight. And it's Carrie Chinner. And you know, she was on the show before and didn't really have enough time to properly convey the complexity of her work. And she blessed me with a session, which was really quite remarkable. She has also been helping our beloved friend Piper Dellums. And so I thought, okay, when I first booked Prema to do the show, and I knew that I really wanted to give Prema a good full hour, I thought, all right, well, then we should probably just have one other person for an hour. Carrie's the right person for that. So again, it's a unique show tonight. And here's Carrie. And just a little bit of a reminder for those of you who are seeing her for the first time, or a reminder who she is. You know, she embodies the essence of conscious living. She's a soul mastery coach, a shamanic and energy medicine practitioner, a quantum biofeedback specialist. In fact, she likes to call herself a galactic resonance practitioner. Her path, very much like so many, very much similar to Prema, unfolded from a profound personal healing journey marked by a deep dive into alternative therapies and energy healing, and triggered by her own experiences, including surviving captivity on a remote cattle station for 5 months by a jail escapee at age 18. I mean, wow, 18 when that happened. She transitioned from her role of a social worker and a therapist within the correctional services to devote herself to inner transformation. So welcome back, Carrie. It's so good to have you with us.
Wow, thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Scott. It's so wonderful to be here. And Omar Shah, that song was so beautiful and such a perfect lead in. I have my rescue cats that may wander around here from time to time, but my big boy was just listening out to that song. Uh-oh, here he comes. I know.
I meant to put up Omar Shah, and instead we got Jerry Anderson eating peanuts.
Right. I might need Omar Shah's music a bit more. No, Eddie, darling. No, it's all right. And so, Prema, like, just where were you when I was 18, honestly? The gifts that you bring. And I just want to say your voice should be on that PDF as one of the tools for nervous system regulation. Just beautiful. So I just want to also, oh, I'm so sorry, Eddie, darling, off you go. I just want to say that my internet dropped out twice during Prema's transmission. And so if you do lose me, I will jump straight back in, but something weird went on. Yeah, okay. So, hi everyone. I can see some familiar faces, Sylvia from last time. Hi. And yes, I'm excited to bring this technology to greater exposure today. So I'll start a little bit with my introduction because that as an intro just being left can be a bit shocking to land for people. And I just want everyone to know that my journey has been an incredible one through the depths of the darkness into the light. And I feel like my personal trauma was literally the gift given to me by God and existence that really set me on this path to search beyond what was available for me at the time. And one of the things that I came from a very beautiful family that was very religious focused, probably a bit like Jehovah's Witness. It was a Christadelphian religion, so it was very closeted, very closed, very beautiful, but no reality with the real world, and of course, no training to have any sense of inner authority. And so when I ventured out into the world, onto this remote cattle station, I think you call them a ranch in the US, but it was very, very remote. And when I was held captive there by this particular jail escapee and suffered quite a lot of abuse there, it was, as you can imagine, incredibly, incredibly traumatic. And at the same time, I have memories of it being the happiest. There were moments where there were the happiest times of my life. And even at that time, I was curious of how could those two polarities coexist together. And in reflection and through my healing journey, what I really got to see was that living out there in the remote desert, being connected to the earth, having only the earth and nature, the stars, the desert, the trees to commune with. There was no electricity, there were no neighbors, there were no telephones. There was only God that existed in nature. That those moments created the most incredible inner strength and beauty and empowerment for me to resource myself during an incredibly difficult and traumatic time. And so it wasn't until many years later, after I went into my healing journey somatically, I trained as a somatic body worker because I was so blown away by the benefits, doing all the breath work, all the body healing work. I then went, but there was another piece to my healing that I haven't really been diving deep into. And it wasn't until...
Whoops. Well, like she said, she just dropped out for a moment. But I hope that everybody's enjoying this. And I do see a few of you have asked for us to do more shows like this. What I might do, well, this should be a good time. I'll do a couple of quick Global Peace Tribe announcements. So this is the last show of the current season. And I know many of you have already registered for the new season. And I appreciate that so much. And thank you, those of you who come on in at, the highest level or higher levels. And there's so many levels you can come in at, actually. So I'm going to put into the Zoom room the link to register for the new season, because some of you haven't registered yet, and I don't want you to miss any shows. So here is the link in the Zoom room. And for those of you who are watching, all of our friends watching on YouTube or Facebook, it's really easy. Just go to globalpeacetribe.com, globalpeacetribe.com, and you can learn all about us. You can learn about the different things that we've been doing. You can watch us on YouTube, and then click register for the new season. And when you click register for the new season, that will take you to our registration page. And I'm verifying that I'm human. And come on, constant contact. You can do it. There we go. And there's different levels that you can come in on. And if you come in as a gold or platinum level, you can bring guests onto subscriptions. Just send me a message with the email address and names of the people that you want to sponsor. And please do join us. And let's increase our membership. I know I say that, but I'd love for all of you to really, especially you regulars, let your friends know about it. Get them some subscriptions. Let's grow our tribe. Also, a reminder that we are going to be doing a retreat in Sedona like we did 2 years ago. It will be November 14th to the 18th. And it's going to be at Larissa Stowe's beautiful, beautiful property. And so I'll have more details coming up about that, but mark the dates. If you're going to fly in, you can fly into Phoenix and we'll arrange transportation for you, or you can drive in. And Sedona, of course, is very beautiful and a very magical place, a wonderful place to be indeed. And Carrie still hasn't come back in, wouldn't you know? So what I'm going to do is share something else that I was going to share a little bit later on in the show. One of our most beloved members of our tribe is Dorina Joy. And Dorina Joy has been with us pretty much from the beginning. And these are pictures of her with her beloved father, whom she loved very, very much. You may remember that Dorina Joy has been living in Ecuador, and her father is in Bulgaria. She's originally from Eastern Europe. And she got the word that her father was very ill a few weeks ago. She immediately flew to Bulgaria, and sadly, before she got to Bulgaria, her father passed away. Bulgaria has been very challenging. Her computer died. She had some big challenges, including medical challenges, including coming down with pneumonia. And then she just learned that her home in Ecuador burned down. I'm going to go to what she sent me. I wasn't quite prepared for this because I thought I was going to show it a little bit later, but I'm going to do it now. So there she is trying to attend to her father's funeral, and learning that, and dealing with pneumonia, and not a computer. This is a video of what remains of her home. I guess her friend or someone who knows her made the video for her. So this is her home in Ecuador that has been has been badly burned while she is in Bulgaria. And so, it's just really an unbelievable set of very difficult circumstances. And you can just see how everything is burned, everything is charred. She sent other photographs of, that show it as well. But I think this video kind of captures just the depth, the absolute depth of the damage to her home. So I have started a GoFundMe campaign for Dorina Joy, just like we did a GoFundMe campaign for our beloved Piper Dillums. Now it's time for us to support Dorina Joy. And I literally just created it a few minutes ago. And so I want to invite everybody to please donate. And so let me get the link right here for everybody. I'm going to go in and donate right away. I was so busy building it, I haven't even done the donation yet, but I will immediately donate myself. And here you go. I'm putting it in the chat box. All right. And for those of you who are watching on Facebook, if you just go to GoFundMe and put in a GoFundMe for Dorina Joy, just write Dorina Joy, I think it'll come up quite easily for you. And I believe that Dorina is with us still. She also is having some challenges coming in and out. So yeah, she's with us. So Dorina Joy, if you want to speak, you can just unmute yourself. And of course, what I am going to do is invite us all to drop into a prayer. So I'm going to, I can't spotlight her because her camera isn't working. She doesn't have a camera. But she is with us. And if you want to say anything, you can unmute. Otherwise, let's all take a moment, drop into your spiritual self, and let's all send maximum grace to Dorina Joy. Maximum grace to Dorina Joy. Maximum grace for Dorina Joy and for her family. Maximum grace for her father and his passage to the next world or to the greater world. to the astral world. And maximum grace for Dorina Joy's health. And may we all send her green love as well as our maximum grace love. And Dorina Joy, I'll read to you in case you can't see them, the comments. Lots of people praying for you, expressing their sorrow. And again, everybody, if you go to that GoFundMe link, there it is. And let's help Dorina Joy rebuild after this unbelievable loss that she's gone through. So let's please, and all you do is just click. I'm going to give her $111 right now. You don't have to pay GoFundMe, by the way. If you just scroll down, you can take this little toolbar and you can put it all the way to 0, and then you can go ahead and process. And so, whoops, cancel. And I'm going to pay using my PayPal. Here we go. And so let's all be generous, and you can pay using credit card, Venmo, PayPal, and let's all be very generous in our donation for beautiful Dorina Joy. Praying for her, and well, and here we are. So again, I'm going to put the link into the chat box, and I invite everybody to, oh, I didn't show that actually. I thought I was sharing my screen all that time.
Scott, I'm here. Did it all drop out?
Yeah, we haven't had you. Welcome back. You've been gone for a while.
Oh, did you hear anything?
Well, we heard some, but you were just still on the ranch. The last year you were sharing, hang on, I want to wrap up what I was doing. So everybody, let's donate to Dorina Joy. And again, the link is in the chat box. I took that opportunity while you were away, Carrie, to launch a GoFundMe for Dorina Joy, who you met a little bit earlier. So the last that we heard was you were talking about how when you were stranded up on the ranch, you simultaneously had this experience of feeling so close to God because that's all there was. And it was after that that you dropped out.
Oh, I went on a great big story I was sharing because the video didn't, the screen didn't drop out. So that was interesting.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, no, that's what I lost you.
Right. Okay. So apologies if I repeat myself, but yeah, so what happened after that was after I was rescued, I went on a journey and eventually started a deep dive into somatic bodywork and healing, and ended up training as a somatic body worker, and I quit my job as a social worker and started my own business back in 1997 through utilizing traditional somatic healing therapies. And it wasn't until I did the Hoffman Quadrinity process, and mention in the chat if anyone knows of that or has actually done the process. It's a big process in America. It's run all around the world. It totally changed my life.
It used to be called the Fisher-Hoffman process. And then
yeah, right. That was the original, the Fisher-Hoffman, and became the Hoffman Quadrinity process. And I ended up training as a facilitator in that, and I've been teaching that for about 15 years. But yeah, George, great. At that process, I had a visceral experience that I was more than my perceived limitations. I had a visceral experience that I was more than my emotions. I was more than my stories. I was more than my physical body. That I had the experience of who I am as a spiritual self, as a spark of God, a spark of the divine. And it was undeniable. And as cynical and as resistant as I was when I went to the process to having any kind of experience like that, because of my religious upbringing, I was very wary of taking on any other belief system because I was in that rebellion of, and yet this was undeniable. And so after the process, I made it my commitment, my absolute commitment, that I knew that the success in my business and my life was linked inherently to the relationship I had with my own spiritual self. And so I made that commitment that everything that showed up for me, that everything that I felt and did was a link and a pathway to remembering me home to my God self. And my invitation was, how can I bring that God self, that aspect, that higher vibrational aspect of myself into my body, into this earthly container? How can I look through the eyes of my spirit at my story and not have to go through those conventional and traditional pathways of healing that, because there was another way and it's a different frequency to do that. And so, what was Laura, what was the name of that process? The Fisher-Hoffman Quadrinity process. Yes, that was the original. And then it became the Hoffman Quadrinity process. A brilliant piece of work. And so that's been my lifelong commitment. And in that, I think it was in 2009, I started my 2-year training with Alberto Villoldo and the Four Winds in the Light Body School, because I really wanted to come home to those earth-based unity consciousness relationships, because that's what got me through my trauma. And so I studied with Alberto, and in 2009 I went to Peru, and that's where I studied with the Andean shamans. I didn't do ayahuasca, even though I went to the Amazon. Like Prema, I have a high sensitivity, and so I just knew that if I'd done ayahuasca, I'd still be crawling around the jungle thinking I was a jaguar. That's just my sensitivity. So it wasn't until we went to the high mountain shamans where Alberto said, and now we're going to go to the high mountains where the shamans don't ingest anything to understand the nature of existence. They are so of the heart. They are so of the frequency of gratitude. They are the embodiment of what it means to be in resonance and coherence with existence. And from that place, magic happens. And I was just blown away. I went to Peru with a deep seated trauma of grief of having watched my mum die a very unexpected and tragic death, and it was shocking to all our family, and I was unprepared. I would have been a great jaguar. Yeah, I would have. Thanks, George. Or Dr. Laura, thank you. And that grief was debilitating. So it was every time I remembered my mum's death, I was in those heaving sobs, of trauma. And it was just in the sitting with the shamans who held my hand, and we couldn't speak each other's language. They just held my hand. They were in presence with me, and I felt the grief leave my body. I felt them extracted from my body and my being. And ever since, yes, I have my normal grief, but I don't have those heaving trauma responses. And that was forever life-changing for me. And I really devoted my time to understanding the quantum nature of existence. What does it mean to be able to transmute our stories from our God self, from our heart versus our wounds, versus our humanity or our story? And don't get me wrong, I believe we have to do it all because I've done it. And so I'm not saying that we deny the physical vehicle and the pathway that is so important and it's so necessary. And if we can bring in that other pathway, we start to locate our dance with existence through the God self, through energy, through frequency versus pain, challenge, story, density, polarity. And so one of the things that happened back in 2015, my dad was diagnosed with 6 months to live.
Whoops. We lost her again. Ah, technology. Isn't that something? Not quite sure what to do here. I think, Omashar, would you be willing to, oh, you've got some slides and videos to show. You're muted.
Indeed, I have, and I was just fully vibing with the Jaguar, because her trip and how she's come to the center and feeling that the correlation of ourselves to our spiritual nature is directly related to that how we produce in the world. You know, our finances, our home, and our friends. I was just really getting into what she was saying, so hopefully she'll come back. She is in Thailand, I believe.
Yeah.
And so often the threads of the internet break, so they have to tie them together again. And so we can either show the Japan slides here. I have a presentation which is 11 minutes and 40 seconds long, or I can play a song, or whatever you
Why
want.
don't you do that? Let's start doing the slides. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll bring them up, and when Kerry comes back in, we'll just put out maximum grace for the internet. And I'm going to just share my screen. I have to press a couple of buttons here. You're not seeing this, of course. I have to put on the share computer sound, which is good. And this starts off, can you hear me all right?
We hear you perfectly.
Good, so I can speak over the video. This starts off with us all just gathering before everyone had arrived. We were getting to know each other, and we sung a tune that I know you guys know. And here it is. And if anything goes awry with the video, just shout out, Scott, because I can't see now.
Okay.
So
It's good.
Are we good?
We're good. We see Pookie Lee singing our song.
And you can hear it.
And we can hear. It's a
Excellent.
tad.
We are united, we're not divided. We are united, we are not divided. We are united, not divided. We are united, we are not divided. We come from the same source, a powerful love force. We're coming together, stronger than ever, not divided. We come from the same source, a powerful love force. We're coming together,
So there are signs on the streets which say which way, if there's a major earthquake, when you have to get out of Tokyo very quickly. And also, just to prove that they're really clean, no smoking on the street, otherwise you're
And
going
as
to
you can
snap
see,
hands.
there's the Emperor's car right there. That's the one that they had in 1636. Or was it 155? I'm not too sure, but it's a lovely color blue. I think it was, whatever. I know we can't take photos inside the temple, but I can at least come out here and pretend that I'm just talking to somebody on the phone. That would be you. All right. It's very, very beautiful, very cute. And
Maybe turn up the volume a little bit.
here's my friend.
I'm sure.
I'm
My
trying.
friend the dragon. And what one has to do is turn himself on for me. Thank you very much. So we bless the dragon. We have to bless the dragon. It's important to bless the dragon. Because dragons are quite a part of Japanese culture. So, arigato gozaimasu. There we go. Dragon being. And let's go over here, see what's happening. We shall see. Anyway, there's the beautiful temple in all its glory, former and present, flanked by two giant monoliths. Holy smoke. The hotel I'm in at the moment is I'm on the 17th floor. The hotel that I'm going into with the Unity Earth Peace Group tomorrow, I'm going to be on like the 40th floor, and I think there's 70 floors in that hotel.
Wow.
Just inside the temple doors there. It's pretty amazing. Feels great. It's the juxtaposition with all the juxtaposition. There we go. With all the modern buildings is a bit of a I don't know, travesty actually, because it's bringing noise into something that is totally peaceful. So I'm going to peace off at the moment and see you in a minute.
These are the first people I met when I got there, John and Summer. And who should
Wow.
turn up with Zenka Caro? Bloody hell. I never expected to see her. She was in there for a conference for one day. And this is us at one of the shrine temples. And they have a shrine to Kami, which is kind of nothingness. Another photo of our group at the same shrine. And we were being told about the shrine by the monk there who is got his hand up in the air. And here is the most photogenic couple on the planet. Hato and Antoinette, of course. And here's a minute of the ceremony that when we were at the Mount Fuji Sanctuary. They're just warming up for an indigenous ceremony. And just when it was getting juicy, they said, no cameras. So we get 50 seconds of this. And that's Mindahi smoking not a big fat joint, it's actually a herbal medicine. So you have indigenous elders from Australia, 2 Aboriginals, and from down in South America.
Hey!
So,
Hi.
Carrie,
Oh my goodness.
Carrie
Is
is
that
back with
Scott?
us.
I think I see you, Scott. You are here with us at Fuji, in our hearts, in our spirit. You're here in our emotional connections and in our love. And we miss you so much. But we don't miss you too much because you're here. And we're just sending you a dose of Mount Fuji magic, mysticism, love, spirit, and just know that our arms are wrapped around you and we're thinking about you.
And we just transliterated FOMO into...
Oh yeah, now we're calling it Phoebe.
No,
Oh no,
Joby.
Joby. Joby,
The joy of
the joy of being,
being included.
included. So we're sending you a message encoded with Joby, and may you just soak it all in, feel the Joby, the joy of being included, and just know how much you're loved.
Yes,
Okay.
and may peace.
And may peace
Prevail
prevail on
on
earth
earth.
from the heart of Fuji Sanctuary.
And this is the gathering. There is almost 700 people all sitting down very respectfully at the center, and that's Mount Fuji there. Actually, from my hotel room when it wasn't clouded by cloud cover, obviously. And here's the peace flags and Mount Fuji at the Mount Fuji Sanctuary. Some of the peace flags. And here's Daniela from the listening field and some of our other friends, and the 194 peace flags waiting to be taken around the ceremony. And this is a beautiful ceremony at the end. Ben Bowler in the center and a few of other beings. And Mount Fuji again, just as we were leaving, she opened the clouds up for us to see her.
You see, this life is like a school. We gotta learn to live the golden rule. Treating our brothers and our sisters how we want to be treated too. Ooh, when I say namaste, the God in this is the God in you. Jesus said we are all the children. Told us to go and spread the good news right now.
Music.
Towards the incredible exception.
Alex, you're there from Pakistan.
That's Ubuntu. All right, I want to hear you guys peace and unity. Hey, you know your community. That's Ubuntu. Ubuntu. When the love and respect I have for you is the same you are for me. That's Ubuntu.
I'm ready to hear it out.
Ubuntu. Now, so tell all the people near and far, I am because you are, and that's Ubuntu. Ubuntu. All right, it's your turn. Here we go. Hey, the spirit of Ubuntu. All right. Let me hear you again, guys. Come on. Hey, the spirit of Ubuntu. Two more times.
This is the green room in Hiroshima with Koichiro Spiri and Walking Eagle and Standing Bear, actually. And this is in a conference we had with some very famous people there. And there's some more famous people, including one of the sole survivors of the atomic bomb on the left there. And there's famous me and beautiful Antoinette, of course. And this is a gentleman from India. I wish I knew all their names right here. Salman Kushti, his name is. This is some beautiful people who came from Israel, phenomenal performers who went back to Israel afterwards to the killing fields there. And this is Antoinette and I was playing the flute and Antoinette's playing the piano at a concert in Hiroshima. And looks like a clarinet, but it's actually flute. Bob and Pookie were rocking it out, as they always do. This is what was being live streamed that night. And where are we now? This is Koichiro Spiri, and I ask you to check out his music, because he is a rapper with extraordinaire who absolutely has very, very conscious lyrics. Marty Casey, Ramayal Roy from Pakistan, Pato Banton, just rocking it out at the end. You wouldn't believe how these guys danced and how Marty Casey can do the splits. This was the end, the final kind of goodbye at the end of the Hiroshima concert. This is an Aboriginal elder and Joan Bowler, Ben Bowler's mum. And this is the only piece of Hiroshima that was bombed, that was left, that they've kept as a monument there. We're coming to the end of the thing now. This is our gathering with the bit of the Hiroshima that was left after the whole city was wiped out. And this is Hiroshima now. and rebuilt, all brand new. And this is the end of the share, Scott.
Well, thank you very, very much for coming in and covering. I do think Carrie came back, but I didn't want to interrupt you.
And I hope she's still here. Yes, she is.
Do you see her?
Yes,
There she is. Okay, got her.
Good.
Carrie, is there a way that I can inform you when you disappear? Maybe
you can message me on my phone, like how we've been connecting. I've got it sitting right here.
okay. So next time you go out, if you go out, hopefully you won't. We do need to wrap up fairly soon because, of course, we've lost some time.
Yeah.
But I definitely want you to get into the beautiful work that you do. So
Thank you. Yes, I've sort of spoken my whole presentation, but it was just to myself. So, but I think what
it's a rehearsal. It's a good rehearsal.
That's right. But I'm thinking we might just go straight into the technology so people can see that. And I'll just preface it really quickly with this particular technology is Tesla based. It is Russian. It is what the Russian space program used to look after their astronauts in space. And so they're the leading edge in this kind of technology. And the beauty with it is that I want to preface is that I am not healing disease. I am not fixing any health issue. Because of the compliance with this technology, what I can say is that what you're going to see is the stress in the body, and the stress markers indicate how far away from a healthy oscillation that organ or tissue is resonating at. So whilst we might see a diagnosis, a disease state, a label, I want to be really clear that that is just the name that is given to that physical oscillation. It doesn't mean the disease state is physical in the body. So we hold everything very lightly because everything is energy. And the beauty with this technology is it carries two aspects. It carries the assessment, so it can read what frequency signature the body in all its parts are oscillating at. And then we can bring the frequency that needs to bring that state up into a healed state. And so that's called the Rife frequencies. And as I talked about last time I was on, the Rife frequencies by Dr. Royal Raymond Rife are brilliant. He's the one who found that every parasite, bacteria, virus has its own frequency signature. And when you match that frequency signature and turn it up, you blast that signature so that it's called the mortal oscillation rate, where it can't oscillate anymore until it dismantles. And so that's what we're doing with the diseased frequencies in the body. I'm not working any illness, I'm working the frequency. Okay, so I just want to make that really clear. So I'm going to share my screen, and I reckon we go here. Now, can you see this template of Scott?
Yes.
Yes. Great.
Well, it looks more, I don't know if it looks so much like me, but I guess.
Yeah, it isn't. I just want to say this isn't actually Scott's internal system. These are just the generic template. And I am going to do an express scan. Normally we would do a normal one, but given the amount of time, it's going to do an express one. So we're just going to see a basic scan of these templates. And what's going to show up down here are a panel of markers: white, yellow, orange, red, brown, and black. Now, if we see white markers, now often they might show up on the screen on your end as all white, don't worry. If we see white markers, it means the energy is blocked. And so I can go in and unblock that and create flow of energy in the system. If we see yellow markers, we go, great, the body's doing really well. It's oscillating in its highest. If we see orange markers, we go, yep, it's oscillating well. If we see red markers, we're seeing an element of stress where the oscillation is a little more away from health. And then if we see brown or black markers, that's when it can be more chronic, or it could be acute. So for example, if you've got a flu, you might see some brown or black markers. So you don't be alarmed. It doesn't mean anything is bad or wrong, okay? Once again, we hold this lightly. And it can also pick up that Scott, being the empath and the open, generous heart that he is, he could also show reads energetically of other people in his field of his love. If he is really holding space for someone who has quite a serious health condition, it may show up energetically in his field. It doesn't mean he's got that. But it just, so Scott, for you, if you see, I just want to check, are you hearing me?
I sure am.
Oh, good. I was going, oh, I hope I haven't frozen again. So Scott, if you see something and go, no, I don't have any bronchial issues or whatever, just know it may not even be yours, okay? But it's in the field. All right, so let's press research, and it might take a while just to find Scott in the field. So once again, I key in his name, his full name, his birth date, his blood type, and his email and cell phone, because that's his energetic signature in the quantum. And now you'll see somatic screening. It's linking in with him, it's finding him in the quantum. And now I've got headphones here with a picture of Scott, and we're linking into him. So all looking lovely. And you'll see these lines over here, the red and blue lines. What this indicates is the red line is the amount of energy the brain is using for the organ to work. The blue line is the amount of energy the organ is using. And so we want the blue line over the red. We want the organ to be doing the work, not the brain. And you'll see up the top here, this will tell you where it's scanning. So you can see we're looking at into the kidneys and bladder. There's the cross section, so the pancreas lies in here. Gives you a whole new appreciation for the body when you work at this level. You can see really what's going on. Yeah, you just go, wow. It's so, you can work right at the intracellular, the DNA level, where, as Prema talked about it, those traumas that are, experienced through our ancestry, they're stored in our body. Our cellular memory carries the imprint. Okay, so that was a really fast scan. So let's go in. Is there any particular place in your body you'd like to look at, Scott? Would you like?
Well, I see those issues with my left hand. I don't know if you can be that specific, but the left palm of my hand and my left fingers, I definitely am having issues with. And I don't know what it is.
All right, well, we'll have a look. So we'll go in. It may not even be related in your hand, so we may not find anything here. It's not a particular juicy place to explore. Let's just have a look. So we go in here and okay, so there's some strep, it's not alive, some osteoporosis that it's showing up. Can you see that?
Uh-huh, yeah.
A little bit of polyarthritis and a toxicoallergic arthritis is showing up. But if we go in, let's see if we can go in further. So we're in the ligaments now. And we can go into the ligaments. And the collagen. So if we have a look here, we click here to see what's going on. And yeah, nothing extra is showing up. We could go into the capillary and have a look. Okay, so what we see here in the capillary, if we have a look, is the strep. Okay, it's not alive. If the virus was alive, this little piece up here would be red. So we'll go into the blood and see if there's anything that's in the blood that's not so well. This is where I often find a lot of the viruses lurking that we don't necessarily have the symptoms of. All right, let's have a look at, let's go in this one. So we can go right down in the blood cells and clean up any distortions. So you can see the blood cell isn't as healthy as we'd like it to be. I often see this in people our age, Scott, so don't be alarmed. We've had a lifetime. Strep mitis. So it's a bit of strep, but it's not alive. So let's go down in the mitochondria. So this is in the mitochondria of one of your blood cells, and we'll see if we can find anything in there. Okay, strep mitis, look at that, it's red up here. That means it's alive. We've got a little strep lactis, another strep is alive. Those two. All right, so what we're going to do is, I'll just move our faces out of the way. Where can I put us? Okay, what I'm going to do is we put you in here. Sorry, I've just got to keep moving our faces out of the way. Now what we're doing is I'm going to invert those two strep diseases, viruses. So we're going to shift their frequency. We're going to invert them. We're going to turn them inside out or upside down. See, anywhere there's a virus or parasite or bacteria, it creates a weakness in our body. And so that's when the arthritis can really start to take hold. So we want to clear any of these viruses that are lurking. Okay, so what we could do is we go up here. Whoop. Okay, strep mitis, and we go here. And this is what the strep mitis looks like. So now what we do is we go up and we look for that little virus. It's usually not there. Okay, there it is. Can you see it?
That I think so. Yeah.
That's the strep mitis. Okay, that's that bacteria that we don't want in your system, in your blood.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we go in and we look for its DNA. Now some of these don't have. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's tricky. There it is. So there's the DNA of that strepmitis.
Wow.
So we find it, and it's got a lot of white markers, so it's alive and well, lurking in your blood. And so what we're going to do is we're going to knock that out. So you see up here, there's a destruct button. We send the frequency that is going to take out the DNA of that virus or bacteria. Now you'll see down here, we're going to watch those lines. We want the blue line close to the red. So I've just got to do a little bit of maneuvering here.
Thank you. And I hope this is interesting for people. She is using me because it's, you know, she needed to have someone to work with. Dr. Laura writes, oh, this would absolutely freak out a normal human. You have to be a doctor, nurse, or some experience to filter out the inconsequential findings. Ayada writes, so inspired by all the revolutionary health approaches being developed. This one is incredible. Dr. Laura, this is freaking amazing, Carrie. How do I get one of these machines? Can you go into the joints?
Yeah, great. One of the things that I spend a lot of time with people before explaining what they're seeing, and I spend a lot of time explaining that it's the energetic imprint, it's not the disease state, okay? And so I work with people who can hold that without holding the fear of, oh my God, I've got diabetes. No, you haven't got diabetes. You might have a frequency that is a similar oscillation to that over time, if you don't shift that, becomes a disease state. You can see it hasn't quite hit the flattened state, but that's, oh, look, there you go. We're nearly there. The red's over the blue a bit, but we get it. The thing is, this is the Rife technology, so it takes a lot of training to do the assessment stuff. If it's not your thing, it's pretty intense. But if you were just to get the Rife technology and you had your naturopath or you had someone who could do a monthly scan for you, you could treat yourself at home.
Yeah, do you train people? Do you train people, Carrie, how to do that?
Look, to tell the truth, it did occur to me the other day because I did a long-haul flight to the Philippines the other week, and I actually got the flu when I came back. And I was so sick for a couple of days, I didn't even feel like putting myself on the technology, even though I knew it could help me. And I went, I need to train some people up so that I can go, hey, can you run a scan on me? Because yeah, it was the last thing I felt like doing. So I am looking at that if I can create the space within my business, because as you can imagine, I'm quite busy. And so this is what we now do is we take out this virus and bacteria. So now we knock out this. I won't do it till it's full completion here. But this is what I'm going to offer. Who is our beautiful woman that you're creating the GoFundMe for, Scott?
Dorina Joy. Dorina Joy.
Yeah, so this is what I'm going to do, a session on her lungs to really support this. And so this is what we do. We go and we look and we see what is at the source of the disease state that often we don't see until we're in the symptom phase. And see, then what happens is we will clean up, we'll look elsewhere. I'll just go back in here. Da, da, da. This, oh, it's gone already. Down here.
Thank you so much for who you are, and of course I'm personally appreciating it, and I know that our audience, I think, is really appreciating just this, like someone said, revolutionary technology.
Yeah, That's,
amazing.
and see, this is what we now look at the other strep, and then we go into the body and we find, or into the blood cell, and we find, there it is. See, there's the other one. And then we would do the same thing again. We would look for its DNA, take out the DNA, then we will take out that bacteria, and then we will clean up the blood. We will send it healing energy. And so when I've got clients who have certain health issues, I can go in and really look at different parts of the body and go, where is it sitting at source versus just treating the symptom.
Yeah.
And as you know, I'm just aware of the time, so I'm going through this quite quickly, that as you know, that when everything is energy and we bring it up to its highest oscillation, then the rest of the body goes, oh, I remember what my frequency is, and it starts to, you know, it's that 100th monkey effect. So we can create massive shifts within a short amount of time. And with these sessions, we don't do them any sooner than 3 weeks, because the body has to recalibrate into its healed state. So this is just one of my technologies. I have many others that work on NLP, emotions. I'm going to show you something here, Scott, that we will just go into. Oh, I just want your little hand again. There we go. We touched on really quickly last time was we can do plant therapy. So what would be good for you is this plant. And then we can send you the frequency of that plant to your wrist. We can also do crystal therapy. And so we can send you the frequency of crystals. And if you were, so this is the talc stone. We want that one. If you were here with me, I could test any supplements that you're taking. I could make supplements. I could make anything, drops for you, placing in the plant therapy, the crystal therapy, anything we can utilize there. So I just want to show another piece. If we go in here, and so see what it says here, the cytomegalovirus, that's the old glandular fever kind of virus, that if we've ever had it, or it may be asymptomatic, but if we click on it, we see that that's alive. That's what that looks like. So then I would go in and I would look for that virus and I would take that out. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So now,
So then,
are you actually
yeah.
doing that right now, or are you just saying what you have the ability to do?
Have we got time to do it now?
Well, I don't want. I've got mixed feelings. As a person, I'll be up all night, but I've got a show, and I want to be respectful of people's time. So
I can work on you after we've finished. So I can just complete this for you after we've finished, because I don't like to leave anything lurking that I find. But
yeah,
I just want to show people what is possible. That one of the things that I really truly believe is that in our consciousness at this day and age is that we are dismantling that patriarchal, that hierarchical, that binary way of thinking, and that is included in how we see God. And one of the things that we are so used to when we get sick is when we will often pray to God to help us. And I say to people, this is not about actually asking for help or hoping for something outside of us. When we can bring in the embodiment of our God self, of that frequency, and we can bring in the gratitude and go, how would God show up in the face of my prognosis or my diagnosis? What is the highest frequency that I can meet this challenge with? Then we become the embodiment of God. We shift. We become this technology to our own self. You don't need a machine. The machine does it because we can't hold the resonance for long enough for what is needed. But we are remembering that this is who we are, that we're frequency. If I meet my unwellness with, oh my God, I've got that sore throat again, I've just sent myself dark, sick energy versus, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you for showing me where I'm not able to hold the light of God, where I still judge myself that I should be something other than I am. And when I can bring that frequency to what I am struggling with, I become the embodiment of God within my own healing journey. And so this technology shows us the importance of impeccability, of attunement, of absolute aligned frequency. Because anything that is not aligned is going to create havoc. Does that make sense?
It does. There's a lot coming up in the chat box. Dia writes, for decades, I've been involved with these frequency techniques, and I believe in all that I've been a part of. I still experience, after 30 plus years, a mystery head pain and swelling. How do I get you to continue this journey? You're just now speaking to the spiritual component, which I love. Thank you. And that's from Dia Therese. Julia Stauffer has a client doing a process similar to this in South Bend, Indiana. Dr. Laura really wants to buy a machine from you. IATA, a lot of people are encouraging me to go ahead and receive this beautiful gift. Grace Denise wrote, how about one example? Could you pick one of the things that you've picked up and maybe do an example if you're not too tired?
So here is where we see the cytomegalovirus. And this is what it looks like. And so this is where we want, there it is, right there in the aortic system in your body. Now you mightn't, but if you suffer fatigue, most of us do at some level, that would be this little virus is lurking.
Yeah, no, I definitely have fatigue time moments.
Yeah. Yep. After my flu, look, there's the DNA. You can see it. We got it. After my flu, my fatigue was terrible, and I found the cytomegalovirus. I went, great, I've got the source of it. So then I just treated it, and it shifted. So this is what we now, we're sending the destruct frequency to the DNA of the cytomegalovirus. Now, the thing with this work is we can create shifts, but this is where I'm getting beautiful results with clients, is that if we do one session a month, like 12 sessions a year, we just keep building, we keep going deeper, we keep cleaning up, we just keep cleaning and cleaning and cleaning. Plus, with my other technology, we can look at past life, we can look at in utero, we can look at NLP, we can do meridian work, it all in the energetics. We just work in the energetics. We don't wrap any story around it. It means nothing. It's all frequency.
Beautiful.
So this, we're just knocking out that cytomeg virus. So many people have this lurking in their system, and it's a real source of fatigue and tiredness.
Thank you. I'm so grateful that you're knocking it out for me. Need more energy. Thank you.
I often joke and say, why would I go out with friends or watch Netflix when I can really play around in the intracellular structure of people's DNA and like create wellness? It's I also do this with animals and getting great results with animals, because animals don't have any mental cynicism or fear. They just receive.
So, Kerry, a repeated question in the chat box was, so you do not need to be in the same room as you are to receive this healing, this frequency?
Nope. All my clients are all around the world. I have only got one client here in Thailand, and all mine are around the world.
And the other one is, how can Dr. Laura get into contact with you to communicate about the machine personally?
Great. Yes, great. Scott, are you able to put my email address in the chat?
I sure can.
Fabulous. I've got several different technologies. Another beautiful one is a voice harmony technology where you can speak into a microphone. We can do that over the internet, and it will bring up which organ, which key note is you're out of balance with, you're either deficient or too strong in. And so if it's C or E or F, and then it will correlate to what organ is compromised. And so then I send the chant of that in that key, that if you were to do that twice a day, will start to bring health and healing to that particular organ in your body. So, okay, can you see that? Can you see the red and blue lines there?
Yes.
Yep. So we've flattened it. So we've taken out the DNA, and now what we want to go is we want to knock this cytomeg out. Thank you very much, little one. So I have clients in all different stages of health prognoses, and some of them no longer have that prognosis from, yeah. So we're getting great results. So any other questions? Does anyone else want to ask any questions while I just take this out for Scott?
I'm kind of looking to see. She asked, Dr. Laura is asking, do you send the healing frequencies into the ether?
Yes. Yes.
Margie is asking, Kerry, can you knock out the coronavirus as COVID?
Okay, so how I'm going to answer that is I have, on my other technology, I have frequencies that are in alignment to dismantle all of a lot of these new conditions. Can't say
I'm guessing you have to be careful what you say. Yes, yeah, I understand.
Yeah. If we were sitting in my lounge room, we would be having another different conversation.
That was the perfect.
What was that, darling?
That's the perfect answer about the frequency. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, look, see, now with these, we don't often get the flat lines, but we want the blue over the red. So you'll see that we've taken this one out. And what's really beautiful is that I am always having ongoing mentoring and advanced training, because these disease states are always, we're getting new things that, 5 years ago we didn't have. And so they're always finding the aligned frequencies for that. So you can see there, Scott, you can see the lines. Oops. Yep. So the blue over the red, we've got that one taken out. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So yeah, we don't want to leave that one lurking. And if we were to go into all of these other places, I'll just show you. If you look over here, you'll see we can go into the anterior wall of the stomach. We can go into the right atrium of the heart. Like, we go into intricate places. If we were to go into, you can go into the wall of the stomach. You can go right down to the DNA, the chromosomes. So what you'll see here, Scott, is, see all of these white markers here? That just means it's blocked chi in the stomach. So there might be just some blocked energy there. So I can unblock that at a later date, as in after our call.
Okay, thank you.
Let's just have a look what might be happening there. Actually, it's all frozen up now. That might be our sign to finish up. I'm not sure what's going on with my computer today, darling ones. It seems to have frozen up. I've still got you.
Yep, yeah, we still see you.
Yeah, but my program is frozen, so I'm not sure why that has done that. Probably because this is all blocked up. Now my program's blocked up. So what I'll do is, once we finish up our call, I will just reboot that and I will go in and unblock that. But the main thing is that I would love people to take away from today is to know that what this technology highlights is that everything is energy, and every conversation we have about the world is like an organ, a cell in the greater system of existence. And so everything,
turn your camera back on. There you go. Thank you.
Great. And so that everything is, when I see the intricacies of the body here, and I know that what will create health and wellness and radiant health is an aligned frequency, then if I were to take that out into the world, how can, the healing of the environment,
can you turn off your screen so that we're seeing you? If you just stop the screen.
Okay.
Stop your screen share.
Stop screen share.
I just did it. It's good.
Oh, you did it? Great. Thank you. Thank you.
And there are some questions. There's a question that came in from Facebook. Corey Harbin, who's watching on Facebook, is asking, can this help with liver damage? And also asking just what the name of the system is.
Great. Okay, thank you. One of the things that I will say that any cellular system in the body can be supported by these frequencies. So I can't say with the health label, but if you've got a body and you've got some cellular distortions in your body, then we can bring that frequency alignment to any place within the body. And then your body does the healing. It's up to your body, based on your spiritual contract here in the world, what you're here to do, to bring that into alignment. And so what I do is I bring the frequency into the body, that the body then goes, great, thank you, I remember, or no, I'm here to go a different path. You know, I can't alter that spiritual contract, but I can definitely support the oscillation of frequency within your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual systems.
Hmm. And could you again, somebody's asking again, how did you actually get the information on me to put into the, what's the information you utilized?
Yeah, great. So I use the name, so the full name, because your name has a signature frequency. I use your birth date. Your blood group is really good to know, and your cell phone and your email. So just like your cell phone, just like for me to even get onto this Zoom call, if I put one wrong number in it, I just can't connect with you. I need the exact frequency signature that is recognized in the quantum field it's used through quantum entanglement. And so it links in. So Scott's cell phone is how he's located in the world. His email is how we are located through time and space. So when I put all of these factors in, the more the merrier, basically, the greater chance we've got of lock and loading. And it's very powerful. But like I said, some of the things that we notice on the scan in the system may not even be yours. They may be ancestral. They may be, you know, it might show up food poisoning, and you haven't had food poisoning since you were 12. But
Right.
there will be the echo, the bruising, the imprint of that lives in the cells or the tissues that go, let's clean that out. Because we all know that as we go through life and we experience a trauma, deep grief, a shock, or, you know, that's what creates a distortion in our physical body, and anything that's lurking there or sleeping goes, oh, great. I've got some, you know, some life force to kick off. So the
Right.
more we can clean up, so it's not just a healing technology, I use it to keep myself well. And I'm looking at starting a 1-year program with my other technology, because it's so much more comprehensive in terms of protocols, where people can sign up for much less than what it would normally cost, and we do it as a group. So one month we might work blood protocols, another month we might work liver, another month we might work the brain or the neurons, and we just, because we're all connected. What I heal in myself, I heal in you. What I bring into oscillation in Scott, we all come into oscillation with. And we're all connected.
Wow. Well, Carrie, do you prefer for people then to reach you through your email address? Is that your preferred way?
I actually like Facebook Messenger.
Okay, I'm going to put.
But if people aren't on Facebook Messenger, feel free to email me.
So for Facebook Messenger, and I put it into the chat box, but I also know we have a lot of people that are watching on Facebook right now. So you can find her at Carrie, spelled Kerri, Chinner, CHINNER, and the number 1. I'm going to say that again for everyone watching. Go to Facebook, write this down. You'll find her at Kerri, spelled Kerri, Chinner, like here, CHINNER, and the number 1. That's where you can find her on Facebook, and then use Facebook Messenger. And for anybody who doesn't use Facebook, her email address is very easy to remember. It's Kerri at kerrichinner.com.
Yeah.
I also really want to. Oh, go ahead. Go
Um,
ahead.
I was going to say I'm also on Instagram. I'm not on there a lot. I'm not big on social media. One of the things with this technology, as many of you will know, that it is a bit underground, and it's healthy to keep it that way to a degree.
Sure.
I'm not big on social media, but please do feel free to reach out to me, ask me any questions. I would love to see everyone having a Rife frequency machine in their homes to be able to look after their health. It's
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah.
Well, Carrie, thank you so much for coming in such an uncomfortable hour for you. Thank you personally for the healing work you're doing for me. I'm really, really grateful. I live on a fairly simple budget, so it's really helpful to receive your love and your nurturing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And Scott, it's my pleasure. I will continue working with you after this call just to bring you into alignment. And I will, I just, once again, I'm so sorry for what happened earlier. I have no idea what was going on.
It's all good. I'm sorry that you had to repeat yourself so many times, but it's all good. Thank you, Carrie, so very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Let's all twinkle Carrie and send her lots and lots of love and appreciation. And speaking of love and appreciation, I want to thank all the people who've donated. Thank you, Kathy, Dia, Roger and Bonnie, Karen, myself, Pam, and Molly. Thank you all so much. I think I got everybody so far. Thank you, everybody, those of you who have donated to Dorina Joy. And yeah, she's also saying thank you. Angela, Sage, or many, many others have come in that haven't showed up to me. So Dorina Joy is reading all the people who've donated. Thank you, Scott, Karen, Dia, Roger, Kathy, Omashar, Carrie, Sylvia, Ayada, Margie, Martine, Jerry, George, Pat, Lynn, Pam, Susan, Scotty, Dr. Laura, Christine, Julia, Grace, Angela, Sage, Zoe, Mara, Jim, Don, Sheila have all donated. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. It's really touching. Isn't it beautiful how we can come together in community in this way? It's very beautiful. Please keep Dorina Joy in your heart. Take that GoFundMe and give it to friends, perhaps post it. And we're going to conclude the evening as we always do, or almost always, with the Alpha and Omega Man, who's also our house musical artist, my co-pilot, my dear friend, Omashar, who's now in Egypt, where Eden Amadora is in Egypt right now. So she'll appreciate that backdrop. We can't hear you. You're muted.
It's a technological evening. That was rife with possibilities, right, Kerry? That's my joke of the evening.
You're distorted. You're very distorted.
How about now?
Perfect.
Good. I'm going to stop and just play a song. And let's just take a few deep breaths together. And yes, the new technology that is coming online right now is absolutely amazing. Learning about how we're matching the frequency of healthy organs and reflecting that frequency into unhealthy organs and establishing the health in that organ. It's being developed right now, and a lot of it behind the scenes is already ready. And Rife and what Kerry has shared with us tonight is just testament to the health possibilities that are coming to us down the pipeline. And so without further ado, let's wrap this up with In the Stillness.
the quieter you become, the more you can hear in the silence, in the stillness. I am here. Through the wisdom of your tears, through your heartbreaks, through your breakthroughs, through the shedding of your fears, to know that I am with you and guiding your way. Know that I am cheering you on. Truth lives within you, and love leads us through. I love you. Now your heart and mind is clear, and you know that love is with you, love supports you. Love is here, and you feel that you belong, and you're walking with purpose. You can hear your life's new song. So know that I am with you and guiding your way. Know that I am cheering you on. Truth lives within you, and love leads us through. I love you. Go Susan. Ba 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 ba. Da da da. Through the wisdom of your tears, through your heartbreaks, through your breakthroughs, through the shedding of your fears, to know that I am with you and guiding your way. Know that I am cheering you on. Truth lives within you, and love leads us through. I love you. I love you. I love you.
Let's all twinkle, beloved Omashar. And big love for you, Omashar. Thank you so much.
That was great, and we managed to surf it. We had a tech glitch night, and we're still standing.
You're still here?
Actually sitting.
There's no stopping us. And I can feel my body changing right now with all the good work that Carrie's doing. I'm
Yes.
so proud, Carrie. Thank you very much. Thank you. Happy body. Happy body. Happy Global Peace Tribe. Thank you, everybody, for being with us tonight. Thank you, Omashar. Look forward to seeing all of you next Wednesday night. Make sure you register for the new season so you get the new Zoom room links. I'll send those out early next week. And I will see you on Wednesday night, everybody. Take care. And remember, tomorrow's Sunday, and it's a sacred Sunday. And we make any Sunday sacred by choosing to see the divine in all. And a week from tomorrow will be an actual Sacred Sunday Awakening World show, hopefully with Omashar and myself.